are settling as Bunbury behind the ball.
That puts us at 82, 49, and 8 on the season, hitting at a 62.5% clip.
Back-to-back golden boots. That's 3 in a row for me. Free, too, man. Like, not a dime. That's called being for the people.
It's over! The Columbus Crew, 2023 MLS Cup champions!
All right, welcome in. Welcome back to Sports Prophet TV. This is the MLS Live podcast. I'm the Sports Prophet, or Cooper, and with me, as always, is my co-host Garrett at Jsomefooty. Exciting night so far. Obviously, we got a lot of things going on between Euros and Copa America, and big national team news. With word just came out that old Berhalter finally got fired, which we kind of figured it was coming. You know, they said last week that there was going to be an announcement next week. I'm not convinced that decision wasn't made right up until the end. I think they wanted to see if it could cool off possibly and keep their guy.
It is only because of the pressure that he got fired at all. Like they
Exactly.
were trying to drag this out and not have to pull that trigger.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what I felt like it was from the beginning. Like there's going to be an announcement in 10 days. So
and now we get to look forward to our Troendelos, our Caleb Porters. That's the vibe of coach we're bringing in.
Yeah, probably. We'll see. I mean, is it too optimistic to hope for Wilfred Nancy?
Yeah, I cannot envision Nancy leaving the Crew mid-season and going to the United States national team when League One in France is like right there on the horizon.
Yeah, and that's a more natural trajectory for his career. I mean, absolutely crushing in MLS, go back to his home country and he's probably in line for a big time League One job, like you said. He's just awesome. He's just my favorite coach in the league right now. I'd love to see him get it. But yeah, I have seen Troendelot obviously linked. I just feel like that would be a very lateral move. I don't know. I mean, I've tried to get you to sell me a pipe dream already a couple of times, and you're not giving it to me. So
I cannot lie to you, my guy.
I know it sucks. I mean, it's World Cup in 2 years, and this is what we're working with. At this point, just bring Bruce back. Like I think I'm cool with Bruce. Bring Bruce back.
But then you'd have a whole nother 11 because you got to play in the MLS to be on Bruce's team.
Disgusting. All righty. Well, on a more positive note, we've been absolutely cooking on this show, going for 5 straight winning weeks. We are up to, I think 50 and 39 on the season, right around 56%, plus 18.1 units on the season. The percentage is slowly creeping up to that 63% mark that we ended the season with last year, but the units are actually right on par with the trajectory and basically where we were and where we're headed for. Great year last year, great year this year as far as profit. So we'll look to keep that going. Good to see Kirk and Luis in the chat. Yeah, Kirk wants Klopp. So do I, but that's going to have to be a blockbuster deal. I mean, it's probably going to have to be like a messy like deal, and the Federation it's not going to happen.
No chance.
Yeah.
That's a 0%.
I'll give you 1%, Kirk. Yeah, I'm willing to give 1. Give us some hope. All right, well, let's get it rolling then. Let's get into the picks. Let's hit some more winners.
Yeah, let's go. I love this slate coming up.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, right off the bat, this is St. Louis City, and they are hosting Vancouver Whitecaps.
So, yeah, I'm going to take Vancouver's team total over 1.5 here at plus 135. That St. Louis new manager bounce was pretty short-lived. Vancouver just put 4 on them 3 games ago, and that back line for St. Louis continues to be very, very shallow. Vancouver's confidence is starting to soar too, as they have not lost in their last 3 and only 2 losses in their last 7 games. And they're fine enjoying their attack as well, which is what we've been waiting to see. With 5 of those 7 games, they're scoring 2 or more goals. Now, Vancouver are overperforming in the attack right now. But in this spot, with the lack of depth St. Louis has, I'm going to jump at this price. I'll also just note that St. Louis are greatly overperforming on defense when at home, where if you look at expected goals against, they're a bottom 8 side. But then their actual goals, they've only conceded 11 at home, which makes them look like a top 10 side. So it's going to be a pretty big gap there for me between actual goals and expected goals against. And so I'm going to use that also here as fuel for my fire. I do know Vancouver's playing tonight. Typically I don't like to play teams coming on a short rest. Vancouver did go a little stronger than I expected, but I mean, they're always going to go for that tournament. So I just thought they could have handled this opponent a little easier without having to run out so many guys. But I would expect to see subs at halftime.
Yeah.
If not at the 60-minute mark. Gall's super hot right now. 4 assists in his last 2 games total. They're just clicking right now. And so when I get St. Louis, like I said, with at times that patchwork defense, they're bringing in academy guys to fill in the holes at times. It's just hard to pass it up at plus 135.
I think Roman Berkey's hurt too.
He did go out. I have not gotten an official update on it, but he did get subbed last game.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, St. Louis is banged up. I think they're a fade right now. We talked about it 2 weeks ago, last week. So, I mean, that's just, it's a long season. There's ups and downs, and that's just kind of the current state of St. Louis City. I mean, these guys are in desperate need of reinforcements, and they don't
change. They could change in a week. Like the window opens up on the 18th, but they're not getting those reinforcements yet.
Yeah, not right now. They're not here yet. So, and love the price once again. Lots of plus money on the card today, which is nice. I think we've had a nice record on plus money plays this season. So we'll look to keep it going here. All right, on to the next. We'll keep it moving. All right, Montreal at home hosting Atlanta United. Another one of those teams very similar to kind of St. Louis City. Atlanta just made basically 3 sells, 4 if you include Barco, who they had like a sell-on clause. They've almost made $50 million in the window. Like, it's completely shattered, not even close, like to any previous record of transfer record in the MLS window. I think I saw today on Twitter, Tom Bogert said, like, not only have they shattered the record, this window alone, they've made more money than several franchises have made in their entire existence of a franchise with transfer profits. So
Atlanta swings big both ways. They've got, I think, the 2 highest fees into the league, and the 2 of the top 3 or 3 of the top 4 highest fees leaving the league. So they spend money, man, and they make money. And I don't know, like in MLS terms, how you want to look at them, but they are a selling club. Like, they've always been a selling club. You look at those fees they're bringing back in. They've always been a selling club. So it is extremely good business for them. It is so not great for them until the window, and I don't think you're going to get anybody in here, within the next 10 days. And so they've got to try to stay afloat or something this summer until they get those reinforcements in, and they could be swinging pretty big on those reinforcements.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, that's what this club does. And the cool thing about, Atlanta's track record, obviously a relatively short track record. They haven't been around that long, but the selling has not hurt them as far as like success. Like, this has been a successful club. So super excited to see who they bring in. But the point being with this game specifically is they're not there yet. Same thing that we just said about St. Louis. The reinforcements are not there yet. So right now, Atlanta is a fade for me. I take notes after every single week. I go through, if I don't have a chance to watch games from start to finish, obviously I can only watch like 3 or 4 games at once on multiple devices. I will go through and watch the extended highlights to try to get a feel for, every single team at the end of the week. And my note about Montreal after the Philadelphia game was, this is a team, look, Montreal's always played well at home, but this is a team that is playing better at home. And I said, I don't want to go and back Montreal on the road. Okay. But get them at home in the right spot. I drew a little arrow that was going this direction, right? Like looking a little bit better, right? They're slightly ticking up on my power rankings. So I'm willing to back them here. I'm taking them at draw no bet. This game is basically a pick 'em against a team that's been completely gutted of all their stars in the window, like we just talked about. Montreal actually rotated last game against Vancouver. And the second half, they brought in, more attacking power. They brought in Bryce Duke, Ruan, Kakaro is back, brought him in. He scored a goal. Sanusi, Anthony Vilsaint, basically all their speed and all their attacking guys they brought in the second half, and they were just peppering the goal the entire second half. They were creating a ton of chances against Vancouver. The second half looked like night and day from the first half. Those guys, a lot of those guys are going to be back in the starting lineup for this game. So I think this lines up for a very good spot. And to me, just kind of a little bit of a misprice. Almost, I think the odds makers are asleep at the wheel just a bit on kind of the direction Montreal's headed. And again, how lacking this Atlanta team is roster-wise right now.
No, I agree. Montreal's a bad team. Atlanta's a bad team. I think they're both depleted of talent right now. Atlanta due to sales, and Montreal just because they're just not. The front office has struggled as of late. But no, this was always a Montreal spot for me. It absolutely is going to take the draw no bet. I do not want the money line. I think Atlanta would be very happy with the draw here.
Yeah.
But Montreal's only lost 2 games at home all season long. They've got a positive goal differential at home. This team is night and day when home and on the road. You look at Montreal, like they have the worst defense in the league. A majority of that percentage comes from road games where they just get obliterated at times. But at home, they're competitive. At home, they're strong. And so, yeah, this would be a Montreal spot for me. In fact, it was on the list, and I sent it to you. You said, "No, that's mine." So, no, I'm 100% back in this play. I'll be on it myself. Yeah, this is a Montreal spot.
Yeah, we need to build in like a graphic that when we have a play that we both give the stamp to, like a some kind of cool graphic. I gotta work on that. But cool. Glad to see we're aligned. All right, moving on to the next one, and it is going to be our first 2 unit of the show. So let's get into it.
So, yep, it's Galaxy. It's a playable team total over 1.5. So here we go. I expected Dallas to go strong tonight in the Cup versus Sporting KC. They did go strong. So Galaxy are either going to get a heavily rotated Dallas side this weekend or a tired leg Dallas side this weekend. I do expect the heavy rotation. That's what I'm leaning towards. But I'm okay even if it's just tired legs, because neither of those options is going to help a bottom 6 defense in the league in Dallas. Galaxy opened up as favorites, and while I think the money line, could come home, draw no bet is playable. I just love the team total the most here with Galaxy's 5th best road attack in terms of expected goals in the league. Now, I'll be honest, it hasn't been a great bet on the road, their team total over 1.5. In fact, it's only hit in 2 of their last 5 road matches since the beginning of May. But this is just a scenario, right? I'm loving that I've got Dallas midweek. They went strong. They're going to push for this Cup. And so, yeah, I do. I think they rotate. And so this is going to give me an opportunity where I can get Galaxy against a rotated Dallas side. And I think they could put up multiple goals. And I'm talking like 3 or 4, like in the right spot. Even in Dallas, it's not going to be blistering hot. It's going to be Texas hot, but it's not going to be 100 degrees. In fact, I think we dipped just under 90 degrees before kickoff.
Wow.
And so that's important to me. I don't want, the Galaxy running around in 98-degree weather. That would kill this for me. But no, I think everything's aligning here for the Galaxy to put up quite a few goals. And so here you are getting it at plus 106. Yeah, I'm going to fire for 2 units.
Yeah. So look, the big thing for me here about this Dallas team is that defensively they're young, and this is a team that we kind of got used to being good defensively, at least solid, especially under Nico Estevez. Just because tactically that's where he was at, right? But also they had the personnel there. I mean, like they had good defensive personnel. They are younger now defensively, and I think they were somewhat held together because of the style, because of Nico Estevez's style, because it was so defensive. When he was on his way out, when he became like, yeah, you're probably on the way out, they started to try to kind of open it up again. And then we saw a lot of those issues that got, they became obvious that they had some defensive issues. And I'm just looking at some of the recent score lines at home. Salt Lake scored 3 on them. Minnesota scored 3 on them in a game that was 5-3. The Salt Lake game was 3-3. Let's see. Portland scored 2 on them in a 3-2 4th of July shootout. And then, I mean, like, just their games have just been way more open since Estevez left. So I like it. I don't think you're going to get a Dallas team that's sitting back in a low block here. I think that they're going to get out and try to score. And we've seen Galaxy. They've had, I don't want to say lulls, because they are so good in attack, but between some of the injuries, when Puig was out, they did have a lull here and there on the road. But they're kind of turning the heat back up again of late, and everybody's healthy. So I like it. I mean,
when you mentioned Puig, when Puig was out, Galaxy won 4 in a row, like in the 4 games Puig missed, because Fagundes is just disciplined. He's going to stay center. You need Puig in for there to be goals in Galaxy games, both for the Galaxy and against, because he gives the ball away just as much as he creates, which is why I think the Galaxy might have technically looked better in that 4-game streak when he wasn't in. But you're not going to sit a talent like Puig. You're just going to have to deal with the good and the bad. So we should see the full Galaxy attack here. And that just means goals.
Love it. Yep. And at plus money at that. So right there.
And yes, I do not expect that to stay at plus money. It's already like minus 105 to minus 110 on some books. So I expect it to be juice by kickoff.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because, and I don't mean to say this to like toot our horn or anything. Maybe it's because we're so zoned in. Sometimes it feels like odds makers just kind of put out some cookie cutter home and away lines, and they don't necessarily look at the matchups and the style. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to sound arrogant, but it seems like we find some spots.
Well, I don't think too many teams go to Texas during the summer and just put up goals. Like I don't think that's typical. Texas is usually, those Texas sides are usually a pretty good buy in the summer because they're used to dealing with that heat.
Right.
But it again is a scenario where you're going to have 1 or 2 options with Dallas. Either they rotate or they're tired. And either option is not good going up against this Galaxy attack.
Right on. All right, on to the next one here. This will be my second play, Austin FC. Let's see if I can cash a ticket involving this team. I'm going to be looking at the under 2.5 here against Seattle, minus 102. I saw that on FanDuel. Really nice price. But yeah, so a couple things I like here about the under. First of all, Austin just really can't create, even at home where they have scored more goals, obviously, than on the road. Like, they are notoriously probably the worst road attack in MLS history. I don't see how anybody could possibly have ever been worse creating chances and scoring goals on the road than Austin has been this year, because it's just insanity. It's like you watch them, you look at the the stats at the end of the game, and it's like your standard 0.08 xG for Austin on the road week after week after week. But they're not on the road for this one. They're back at home, where obviously everybody scores a few more goals at home, but still just not very good. Not great. They have tried to kind of batten down the hatches a bit. They lost, and Wolf does it every time. This is how you know. He just kind of sucks. They'll lose 2 or 3 in a row, and then they'll get real conservative. They went on a 3-game losing run, and then they were like, all right, we got to quit, risking things in attack so much. And the XG numbers have definitely dipped since then. Seattle defensively is looking more like Seattle. It was a weird start to the year for this team defensively, because they didn't have really much of a change in personnel, but the numbers were not great to start the year. They're looking better lately, like last probably 8-9 games or so. They look good. They also played yesterday, so there could be some rotation. Usually that affects the attack a little bit more, and they're deeper defensively than they are in attack. Obviously, that's Seattle's issue is scoring goals. And then the cherry on top for me is I'm hearing some murmurs that Giassi Zardes might get to start again at striker.
He's scored a brace. He's 100% starting again.
And that's an auto under for me. Giassi Zardes starting.
He heard you last game talking.
Well, hopefully he's not tuning in right now, because then he's going to score a freaking hattie on me. But yeah, so that's the cherry on top for me. He can have his 2 goals in his last 37 games or whatever it is, good for him. But I like the under 2.5 here.
No, I did too. I also had this on my short list. I ended up moving to under 3.5, and I was going to parlay it with another leg that I'll drop on X or Twitter later. But no, I do like the under here. I'm fine with the 2.5, especially at that price. It almost evens. Yeah, I know. I'll pull the trigger on that. No, this is an under game. You had Seattle playing. You talked about it. Seattle playing midweek, and they went strong. Most of these MLS sides are going to go strong in this MLS Open Cup, because for basically all of them except LAFC, it is their only chance to win any hardware this season. Only the bad teams got into MLS Cup. To Open Cup. So I fully expect all these teams to go hard. They all have. Seattle went pretty heavy, and I expect some rotation from them this weekend. And so, yeah, no, Austin, I think, should control this game. And Seattle might pull it out with a 1-0 win, but I honestly don't even expect Austin to score. So no, I think the under comes home.
Yeah, crazy thing about what you just said about the US Open Cup and some of these mid to lower table MLS teams, going all in on the US Open Cup. LAFC just posted a mighty strong lineup themselves for the US Open Cup match tonight.
No, well, again, most of these teams, it's the only chance to win hardware. I'm not surprised LAFC is going strong, because this tournament is easy for them.
Yeah.
When you look at the rest of the competition, no, this is almost a gimme trophy at this point for LAFC.
Does winner still get a Champions League spot?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
But that probably won't matter for LAFC. They're going to qualify for Champions League in probably a number of ways.
Yeah, definitely on the table for sure. But like you said, if it's this easy, you might as well go and get it.
You're never going to turn down hardware. So this feels almost like free hardware for LAFC. So go get it.
They're running out David Martinez tonight, the 18-year-old Venezuelan. I don't know if you've seen him play a whole lot, but he's really good.
No, he's finally healthy.
Yeah, he's love to see him out there. All right, moving on. We got one more on the docket, and it's going to be a combo play.
Yeah, we're going to stay with the combo plays because they're working right now.
Yeah,
and I got one that I absolutely love. So it's going to be Nashville, and just need them to score. Team total over 0.5 as they're at DC United. We're going to parlay that, of course, with Portland, both teams to score as they're hosting Real Salt Lake. It's another 2-unit play. Got it at even money. DC United couldn't defend if their lives depended on it. I do think that's probably one reason why one of their first signings this summer is going to be a defensive mid, looking like out of Israel.
Yep.
But they've only kept 2 clean sheets on the season. That is 9% of their games are clean sheets. They just surrendered 3 or more goals in 3 of the last 4 matches. So they're just leaking all over, right? So even if I'm looking at Nashville, who I'm not high on the attack, they struggle to score. Somehow, some way, we got both teams to score to cash after the red card last weekend, which we will always take. But Nashville to score being a parlayable price to me is a crime. Just when going against this DC defense. So I'm going to grab that leg. And then, of course, it's Portland, both teams to score. Like, we're just going to ride that into the ground here on the show because it is now hitting at 91% at home. Now that Nashville was able to convert last weekend. And so, yeah, Portland, both teams to score. As long as it's parlayable price, like, we're going to keep riding that. So that insert Fry from Futurama gif. Like, it's just shut up and take my money. Like, this is going to be a play I'm always going to be on.
Oh man, Futurama! What a show! One of my favorites. Yeah. So Nashville showing a little more life in the attack. I said at halftime last week in the Discord, I was like, Nashville's going to score. Like they're going to score on this team, but Portland RSL, both teams to score at a parlay piece price. I'm trying to say this without jinxing us completely, but man, this has got to be the parlay piece of the century. Like, this is fantastic. This piece right here, Portland and RSL. It might take 2 or 3 red cards on one of these teams for this not to come in. I think it's a fantastic piece. I put those two together, you get even money, another 2 unit for the people. And yep, that's where we're at. All righty. Back to us two. All right. Well, we zipped on through them today. Anything else kind of on your mind, or
I mean, there's a lot. I like this slate a lot. I always say, if I'm going to have other plays, they'll be threaded, on the pinned post. There will be plays threaded on the pinned post this weekend.
There you go.
I mean, you're looking at Charlotte +1 being viable against Cincinnati. I'm waiting to confirm that Miles Robinson won't be available because he's already going to be at the Olympic camp. All of the under 23 players are gone. They are not going to be there this weekend. It is the overage players. And it's just Robinson and Zimmerman that I can't pinpoint. Mihailovic, he's an overage player. He's not going to be here this weekend. Okay. So the Olympic camp is going to be up and running by this weekend. Most of those guys won't be there. So I'm just waiting on the Robinson news. If I find it and I know he's not playing, Charlotte +1, I don't care the juice. They haven't covered that spread one time this season, if my memory serves me correctly. So I'm very interested in that. What else? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think San Jose beats Kansas City. I know it's gross, but
no, I like San Jose. The reason why I could not pull the trigger anywhere is the price, man. The money line's +105. Let me see what team total over 1.5 is. -128. Like, it's just so hard to play those prices on that bad team. But I'm with you. I like San Jose in that spot. There's just no value for me in those prices, which is why I'm not even gonna probably have any action there. But I'm totally down to continually fade Sporting Kansas City until they fire Vermees.
So game of the week's got to be LAFC and Crew, right?
Maybe, but I will be on the draw there. That is one of my favorite draw looks. With LAFC going strong midweek, they are at home, which helps them. Crew, not spectacular on the road, but they are very good, right? And so the way I see it is LAFC are going to let Crew have the ball, which is what they want. LAFC are the perfect foil for one of these possession type teams.
Yeah.
And so I think you're going to get a couple of counter opportunities, and it's really hard to predict a score line, but I absolutely love the draw there at almost plus 300. Like that's just too much. It's too high. It's too high. It's such a good draw spot for both of these teams. Because we talked about East Coast going to West Coast, that is tough. LAFC on short rest. Yeah, I just think both teams would be like, hey, we're playing probably one of the best teams in the league. If we can both just get a point and get out of here and focus on, the other teams, we will take it. So I absolutely love the draw there. Kind of in the same vein except like both sides are still missing some players, is Rapids and New York Red Bulls. I'm a big fan of the draw there. Another lovely price of around plus 270. That just again feels like a really good draw spot. Oh man, there's a lot. I would enjoy Houston this weekend if they weren't so juiced. I might be willing to dabble there, but that money line is gone. Like I can't touch that, and I'm not taking any kind of a goal spread on Houston.
Yeah, Minnesota's in a complete free fall.
I wish Toronto looked a little better, because I would be so down for fading Philadelphia this weekend. Again, most of their midfield is on the Olympic squad, so like they're going to be depleted. Martinez should be back with his run in Copa being done. Blake, as far as I know, is still injured, man. He might, I don't know when he'll be back, but Toronto just hasn't looked, they don't look like they have any life, man. Like that.
Yeah.
That attack is so stagnant now, even with the Italians in it. And so it's so hard to pull the trigger there because they're only plus 110. But I do like that spot for Toronto this weekend. Covered that one. Yeah, so Portland RSL, like the reason why I just took both teams to score is because that total is going to close at 3.5 easy. And like you're not going to see me play a lot of 3.5s in MLS. Like I understand the nickname is Major League Scoring, and you can see goals in games. July is a tough month, man. Most of these teams are playing 5 and 6 games between league play, Open Cup, all that stuff. Even the Canadian sides with their tournament, you're looking at 6 games in July in the heat. That's just not easy, man. Like fatigue's going to set in. So I'm not pulling the trigger on a 3.5 in July, hardly ever. And I think it covers a lot of it.
Yeah. And I'm right there with you on several of those. Only other one I would kind of look at that I thought was playable and was interesting, if Zimmerman ends up being gone, a DC United team total was like minus 120.
Yeah, I don't hate that either. If as soon as Zimmerman's out, Nashville are in trouble. That defense was awful without him. They were then one of the league's best in the time he's been there, before the Portland debacle, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as he's gone, Nashville is a very fadeable side for goals. I actually think they're just full game overs will be a nice look.
Yeah, they're just kind of bad this year. No offense. All righty. Well, forgot to tell everybody to like the video because that really does help us out a lot. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I think we're approaching like 600 or 700, something like that. I haven't actually checked. So that's awesome. And we'll run through these one more time, and we'll close the door. First one is Vancouver team total over 1.5 at plus 135. The next one is the Montreal draw no bet. It could also be listed at the 0.0 on the spread, depending on the book, or we also call them a pick 'em sometimes. It's all three of those are different terms. It's all the same bet. So next one is LA Galaxy team total over 1.5 at plus 106. That's the first 2 unit. Then we're looking at Austin and Seattle to go under the 2.5 goals at minus 102. And then to round it out here, we've got Nashville to score a goal. And then our favorite parlay piece of the season, Portland and RSL, both teams to score. That gets you to an even money price at 2 units. And that's all, folks. All righty. Well, anything, Garrett?
No, as always, thank you for the support. Thank you for tuning in. Best of luck. If you're telling, if you're fading, like whatever you're playing this weekend, best of luck. But you are welcome, more than welcome, to sweat it out with us.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's make it 5 straight winning weeks, and we see you guys next week.